Hello. Evil Bong. Do you guys remember the video that I did on all those Evil Bong movies? If you don't, it's like right here. You could click that. In those movies, a surprisingly important character is the Gingerdead Man. It's like an evil-ass gingerbread man played by Gary Busey. Isn't that's really, really cool, right? Come on, guys, it's cool. Now, he doesn't get introduced into the Evil Bong story until about halfway through the movies, and he doesn't make sense in those movies in the first place. They barely introduce him, they skip over any sort of backstory he had. He's just kind of there, and at first I wondered why, but it turns out that's because he has his own movies. Sorry, I scared myself. Now, Gingerdead Man has not one movie. He doesn't have just one movie. He has 3 movies total. Technically 4, but one of them is the Evil Bong one, and I refuse to watch that again. I would rather explode than watch that again. Please don't actually explode me. Why does he have this many movies? I really, really don't know. But 'tis the season and all that is gingerbread themes. I'm doing it around Christmas. Yeah, ho 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 and all that. I'm not gonna lie, I think they kind of cooked with the names and titles for these movies, because I mean the first one is just Gingerdead Man. That's whatever. But then we get Gingerdead Man 2, Passion of the Crust. What could that possibly imply is gonna happen in the second movie? Now, these 3 movies are made by Full Moon Productions, the same people that made Evil Bong, but these actually have kind of a fun origin story that I wanted to talk about a little bit. Basically, the Gingerdead Man originated from a rejected Mad TV sketch. You know, this guy. How bad does something have to be to get rejected from Mad TV? Because I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty funny, but they had some stinkers on there. Anyways, the guy that wrote it, William Butler, met with Charles Band and Full Moon. Charles is like the guy that owns everything, and he was greenlit on the spot. Immediately, instantly, they were like, yeah, dude, make the movie. Is that really how easy it is? The wildest part about that whole story, though, is he was only given a month to write the entire script, like all of it. He was only given a single month to write it before they started shooting, which I think that explains a lot about why these movies are the way they are. That being said, people did not fuck with this movie when it first came out. Bloody Good Horror gave the film a negative review, stating, "It's one of the shortest yet hardest to watch films I've ever seen." And you know, I was reading through all these reviews and I was like, I feel like they're being too critical. Maybe our hearts and minds in the modern age have opened up to accepting the Gingerdead Man as he is and really loving these movies. I mean, who knows? These could become your favorite movies ever after this video. They're not gonna. So to be completely honest, I originally thought they kind of glossed over the Gingerdead Man story in the Evil Bong movie when he shows up to save some like runtime, you know, make it quick and get back to the crazy bong action. He has no story. He really has no story. This movie can genuinely be summed up in a single sentence, and that sentence is about to enter your ear. Evil guy gets reincarnated as a gingerbread man and enacts revenge on the girl that did him wrong. That's it. That's the whole story. Now, I think my favorite part of this whole movie is the insane opening sequence for it. We open up to a robbery taking place in a just like random diner. Do people do that? I get robbing like a gas station or like a bank, but that diner's gotta have like $100 max in the register. You're not getting much, Gary. Speaking of, the robber is Gary Busey, you know, old Gare Bear there, and he is insane in this movie. Legitimately, 2 seconds into him being on screen, he shoots and kills this waitress for no reason. She's literally just standing there and he goes, nah. Why did he shoot her? While he's clearing out the register, we see this family hiding in the back. Apparently he doesn't see them, by the way. He thinks it's empty now, but they're watching him do this, and then the dad gets up because he's like, oh, this isn't right, and he runs at them and shouts, "You bastard, I'm gonna fucking kill you." What was his plan? Why is he slow walking at the guy behind the counter with a gun? He just blasted that other lady for blinking wrong. Did you really think this was gonna work out? It turns out that that guy was the other 2 people's dad, and Gary still can't see them. They're like hiding under the table 2 feet away from him, like right there. They're literally sitting like this. And you're telling me he can't see them? I'm not buying it. But eventually he starts to notice something is there, because he says,
I smell something in the air. It smells feminine.
What the fuck, man? What? Excuse me? The son gets up and starts like walking towards him for some reason, and then, I'm not even joking, 5 times in a row, he just says, "Put your gun down, please.
Put your gun down, please."
It feels like I'm watching an SNL skit that even they would have scrapped because it's just not good. Gary kills the guy. Shocker. And then he finds the that feminine smell from earlier.
Kitty?
Ooh, kitty.
Yo, dude, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I know they didn't have Discord in 2005. Where is he learning all this shit? Oh, also, Gary keeps talking about his mother.
And I'm not gonna kill you. But I have to honor my mother.
He keeps like referencing his mother and honoring her, and you'd think this would be important. It is not. They never bring up his mother again. He keeps doing it here like they're setting up his motive, and then they just never talk about it again. They're like, yeah. What mom? He's a gingerbread man. Now, after this little intro sequence, there isn't much to this movie, honestly. Basically, Sarah is recovering from the loss of her dad and brother, and she's trying to keep her bakery afloat. She's got this employee, Brick, who comes in and announces that he's got 2 tickets for tonight's WrestlePalooza.
A mosh pit of tag team damage and body slammage. Straight from Hell's Kitchen. The Butcher Baker.
Okay, make sure you write that down. It's gonna be on the test later. Now, she gets this weird delivery of gingerbread seasoning. Ominous, I know. She also mentions her brother again. She's like reminiscing about him, and she...
Sorry. Today would have been Jeremy's birthday. He wanted to spend it at the titty bar.
Huh?
Yeah, man. You know Jeremy. Always talking about titties. God, I miss him. Maybe reminisce about going to the park or like a baseball game, not the titty bar. She asks Brick to open some boxes, and he somehow slashes the hell out of his wrist. Like blood everywhere. So they decide to hold his arm directly over the giant open vat of gingerbread seasoning. Like, he's nowhere near it. She actively moves his arm over the tub. Like, why would she do that? This is why I don't ever support local businesses. I hate local businesses. Support your local Walmart. Now, this is some pretty obvious foreshadowing for an evil-ass gingerbread man, but we're not there quite yet. We've still got some more very important story. So Sarah's mom is alive, actually, and she's outside shooting a shotgun at a sign on a restaurant across the street. What? Apparently this is like a big chain restaurant that's opening up soon, and they're kind of scared that it's gonna shut down their bakery because it's gonna get all the customers, right? Oh, also, she's a fucking crack shot. 2 shots, 2 hits across the street with a pump. Get that lady more liquor and get her in the Marines pronto. Now, the guy that owns that building, I don't remember what his name is. I'm gonna call him Daddy. I'm not gonna call him Daddy. The store owner shows up in his sick-ass car, and he's got kind of a thick accent.
What the hell did you do to my banner?
Everybody is supposed to have these, like, thick Texas accents, but some of them don't do it very well, and it's nothing important. I just thought it was kind of funny. He comes up to Sarah and offers her $50,000 for the whole building, which... Oh, wait, this is in 2005. How much is that? $82,943 in today's money. Inflation, am I right? Still though, $80,000 for an entire storefront is wild and definitely not a good price, so she declines and heads inside to de-stress. Now, she de-stresses by making the biggest fucking gingerbread man I have ever seen in my entire life. That thing is huge. That thing is not a gingerbread man. That is a full-size ginger toddler. Gingerbread toddler. She decides to use the evil-ass blood seasoning that they dripped into on it, puts it in a ginormous oven, and he starts coming to life. Now, the reason it has Gary's spirit is because he got caught after robbing the diner and got the electric chair. Kind of a leap, but that is actually the story. He got immediately put in the chair, so... Sucks for Gary, I guess. The rich guy from earlier, his daughter comes in and is mean to Sarah until they both find out there's something evil running around their place. I think they think it's gnomes for a little bit, so they kind of band together over a mutual hatred of gnomes, as everyone should. Also, she's dating Matthew Lillard from SLC Punk, I guess. I don't know who this dude is. Now, there's this whole weird, like, love triangle thing, because he actually secretly loves Sarah, but it really does not matter, because there is absolutely no reason they should still be in here. I'm not even joking. The main reason they give for why they're still here is because the punk guy wants to capture it and put it on the news. Honestly, fair enough. No, that's actually valid. If I saw a little gingerbread man running around with a knife, I'd want to put him on the news too. I'd be kind of cool. For some reason, the rich girl tries to call her dad for help instead of, the police. You know, this guy's running around with a knife. I'd call the cops, but her phone dies mid-call. Luckily, her dad understood just enough to head on over there, so here comes dad to the rescue, only to get immediately killed by the gingerbread man. Like, his first 5 seconds on the screen, he's dead. They keep running away from the Gingerdead Man like we're watching one of those Scooby-Doo, like, bouncing through the door shit, until all of a sudden, Brick comes back from WrestlePalooza, and he ain't playing around. He walks up to the Gingerdead Man and fucking eats him. I'm not even joking. He walks in, he goes like, is this guy causing you trouble? He eats the Gingerbread Man, and then he looks at the camera and he goes,
Got milk?
well, they actually do cut to him drinking milk, which was pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie. I think that was my favorite part of the whole movie. But now, the movie is over, right? The Gingerdead Man is dead, everything's cool, right? Nope. Turns out eating the gingerbread man actually just pushed Gary's soul into bricks, so now they gotta deal with... Hey, remember when I said this was gonna be on the test? What's his name? That's right. It's the Butcher Baker. They actually deal with him immediately. They throw him into an oven. That's the actual end of the movie. That's the end. Now, like I said earlier, this movie has a very different tone from the Evil Bong movies, and honestly, I was kind of surprised about that. I really thought it was going to be the same one note, like, we have to defeat the Gingerdead Man with the power of our titties, and that's like the whole movie. It didn't do that. After the diner scene, it felt very slow. I didn't think it was that bad. Honestly, this might have been Robin's best performance, which I haven't seen all of her movies, so I don't know, but that was definitely a movie about a evil gingerbread man. Yeah. But now we get to see Passion of the Crust. And this one, this one I've been waiting for. Oh, I've been waiting for it. Now, if you try to watch this movie on like Tubi or anything, it'll be labeled as Gingerdead Man 2 Bakery of Blood. But it originally did come out as Passion of the Crust, and you can still find that online. I think they changed it for copyright reasons, but God, that original poster is awesome. Now, this movie opens up to a recap of the first movie, in case you forgot the 3 things that happened, and then we cut to a satanic ritual sacrificing this random lady. So this evil Satan guy starts throwing money on this lady, which is kind of awesome, and then he starts using this to start summoning shit, right? Like the Knob Goblin and Treasure Chest. I have no clue who these guys are, but he starts summoning people like the Percolator and shit. Like things are getting real, man. One of the puppets, whose actual name is Shit for Brains.
Shit for Brains.
Shits on him, and then the scene cuts. We hear a giant cut, and then we cut over to a studio. So this movie doesn't actually follow Sarah at all. She's not in this movie at all. This movie is a like meta commentary on shitty B movies, which would be really fun if the shitty B movie that they started introducing sounded so much more enjoyable than the rest of this movie. Sorry, that felt a little mean, but you'll see what I'm saying, trust me. Basically, this guy, Calvin, his father was the owner of the studio, but after he passed, the studio started tanking really hard, so Calvin is using a bunch of his old favors with the people that used to work there to really try to put this studio back on the map, right? Now, they're all beefing because he can't pay any of them, so later in the day, some lady comes in with all this sexy music and drops off her big pink box. Guess who's inside said big pink box? It's the Gingerdead Man. Look at him, dude. He's ginormous. Like, he's like this big. She said she got it from her sister in Texas, which I think is the only connection back to the first movie. But Gingy's here now. Basically, everyone in the studio is getting pissy and trying to quit because it's just been too much. So Calvin has been freaking out trying to fix everything. And while he's going around fixing things, there's also a Make-A-Wish kid coming to tour the studio. Huh? This is a very important plot point, and I don't know why. This entire movie is really strange. It's super meta. They talk about like critics online hating them. They talk about making movies so bad, even the B-movie watchers hate them, stuff like that. And I think that would be really fun, but considering that these guys made Evil Bong 4 through 8, it's like Hitler making fun of Nazis. You know what I mean? It's like, you are the problem. You are the issue. This movie also feels really disjointed, because throughout it, they just have random side characters and pieces like,
There's no goddamn toilet paper in the shitter again! Dumb shit! I had to wipe my ass with my socks!
I don't know, man. He starts touring around more, showing Tommy from the children's hospital. Wait, children's hospital? This guy's like 25, easy. Who the hell did he convince to let him be at children's hospital? I don't know if this is like a bad actor casting or what, but that dude is not a child. Later on, he brings him to Sir Ian Kavanaugh's room, who is none other than Grandpa. It's Grandpa from Evil Bong. I do want to compliment Full Moon on how they can consistently keep the same actors, because that is notoriously really hard to do in the movie industry. I've always felt like while these movies are objectively ass, they are objectively not good. One, that is what they're going for. At the end of the day, I know that they're trying to make shitty movies. I'm not clicking on this expecting Interstellar, you know? But I also think that these would be an absolute blast to be a part of. And I think it's just always a really strong message when a studio can consistently get their actors back, because it means at least behind the scenes they're doing something right? Unless you're Marvel, because then it's just money. It's always money. Oh, hey, did you forget that this was a Gingerdead Man movie? Because we finally go back to him reading some satanic ritual book that he found in the prop room. And is that 3 statues of Bill Clinton? That's kind of awesome. How do I get one of those? Full Moon, can you send me one, please? Not a lot happens for a while. It's just Gingy running around killing people. We get to this portion that I think is kind of lame. We get this spiel from Calvin about how he loves making these shitty B movies, and he knows they're schlocky, but he wakes up every day just loving his job, and he really wants to keep making it work, and he loves doing it, which is fine, right? I understand having that. But while he's doing this, he has the like hot Make-A-Wish girl fall in love with him during that. And it's just, what am I watching? What is this self-insert shit? Like, am I watching an Adam Sandler movie? Why is Charles Band inserting himself as this Calvin guy and having the hot lady swoon over him for being so passionate about making the fucking Evil Bong series? Now, this movie culminates in some people dying, so everybody but Kelvin and the Make-A-Wish girl leaves. I don't know why she's still here, but they start hunting down the Gingerdead Man. They go around some of the sets until they make it to the space set from earlier, which I couldn't show because it was really weird. But somehow the Gingerbread Man has taken over this evil robot thing and fucking lasers this guy. That was kind of awesome, man. I'm starting to come around to this movie again. The lasers were sick. Now, he's about to shoot Calvin before last second someone comes in and destroys the robot cookie. But who? Well, it's none other than Tommy the Terror, also known as Demon Warrior 13. Demon Warrior 13 is this critic that they kept referencing at the beginning of the movie. He like absolutely hates Calvin's studio. He hates Calvin. He just wants their studio dead. So Calvin, rightfully so, starts freaking the fuck out. Turns out he's been faking the Make-A-Wish stuff the entire time and is here specifically to murder Calvin with a bomb. He's got a stick of dynamite in his backpack. Don't know how that got in here, but okay. We get a solid like 5 to 10 minute monologue about himself and Kevin until he captures them and puts them in that set from the beginning, the Satan set. He starts reading from the ritual book as like a way to make fun of Calvin for having stupid ideas. I don't really know how this is supposed to help him, but Gingy just comes up and kills him and then starts reading actual satanic rituals and shit, which infuses all of those puppets from the very beginning of the movie, and they all start attacking him. They put a crown of thorns on him and then they nail him to a cross and then they light him on fire. What the fuck? I guess this is why they called it Passion of the Crust. What am I looking at? Oh, and then Ian from earlier comes in and shoots all of them. And that's the end of the movie. Genuinely, what the hell did I just watch? It really, this movie felt like nothing. Gingy's been crucified. What the hell? It kind of felt like they started off wanting to make a commentary on the B-movie genre and the criticisms of it, and then halfway through they went, it's kind of lame. Let's just make this movie fucking awful. I don't really have much else to say about this movie that I haven't already said, so I guess we're gonna pretend that didn't happen, and we're gonna move on to Gingerdead Man 3, Saturday Night Cleaver. We open up to a food-themed homage to the fucking Silence of the Lambs when Clarice goes to meet Hannibal and they've got Gingy as Hannibal, right? I think this scene is kind of fun, but it also really feels like a knockoff SNL sketch or something you'd see on like YouTube. A lot of the humor in these movies is like that 40-year-old coworker that you know that like always talks about all the chicks he bangs, but he's like divorced or he's single or whatever. And he like comes in with a monster every day, and one time he showed you a picture of his ex-girlfriend's tits on his phone without you asking at like 8 in the morning on your first week of the job, and it was really uncomfortable and really weird, and you know, that kind of stereotype. Now, this isn't super important for the rest of the movie, but basically she offers him yard time if he tells her what makes him so evil. He refuses to tell her, of course, and then some misguided animal rights activists, which is actually what they call them, break in and free him from his little cage because they think he's a capuchin monkey.
Be free, little capuchin monkey! Be free! Run as fast as you can!
And, you know, so far, I like this setup. I think it's pretty fun. I think it was a fun little opening sequence. But don't worry, they couldn't handle it, so we immediately cut over to a roller rink in 1976. Basically, before he escapes, Gingy grabbed a little time teleporter device and accidentally sent himself to 1976. Also, just want to point out, his puppet has gotten progressively scarier and scarier with every movie. Well, okay, less scary. Scary is not the right word. It's gotten gross. He looks rough. I don't know what else to say. Once he gets in here, we get introduced to some of the roller rink regulars, like Twirls Epstein. Hey, that's
off, Epstein.
Apparently tonight is the night of the annual Disco Roller Boogie Queen Contest. Dude, I'm so fucking hyped. Everybody's super hyped. Everybody's jumping around like, oh my god, I hope I get to be the queen. Except the disco is gonna shut down because they forgot to pay their back taxes. Now, while the owner is telling everybody this, she also decides to introduce her niece, Cherry, who is a very in-your-face Carrie reference, if you couldn't tell. Now, not too much happens after this. We keep bouncing around, Gingy's running around, and they keep using this exact same shot of Gingy running across the floor of the dance floor, and it's so fucking funny. I love it. But yeah, the main plot here is that Gingy gets stuck here. His time travel device isn't working anymore, so he's like, fuck it, I guess I'm gonna kill everyone. Lol. You can tell that this is a later Charles Band movie because it starts losing any idea of what a plot is, and it starts getting a lot more sexual. We get this whole car wash scene where these ladies are like, oh my god, I love car wash. And then Gingy's in the corner squeezing the icing. Now, this is actually a pretty common scene in all of his movies. I just tend not to mention them because Quite frankly, I don't like looking at them. I can never really tell how they want me to react to these scenes. I don't know if they want me to be like, yeah, Gingy, I feel you, man, that's what I would have did. Or if they want me to look at it and be like, ew, what the fuck, Gingy? Dude, oh, dude, you're crazy, put it away, man. Because both of those reactions aren't great, but honestly, judging by the rest of their movies, it's probably the first one. They probably want me to fuck with it, you know? Gingy just keeps going around doing some random shit because he's still stuck here. And speaking of stuck here, 2 kids found the teleporter that Gingy dropped for no reason, by the way. I don't know why he dropped it. That's his only way out of 1976. Whatever. They grab it and it works and they teleport away. Bye, kids. Oh, also, the background music is like a perfect mix of Lowrider, you know, the George Lopez show intro, and the Wipeout music. And it's so good. Now later on, Gingy decides to spray the car wash girls with hydrochloric acid that for some reason was attached to the tube that they were using to spray water. Don't know why that was there, but they all melt away. And I brought this one up specifically because the effect on this is atrocious. It is one of the worst effects I've ever seen in any of these movies. It might be the worst kill shot I've ever seen in my entire life. It looks so bad. You can tell that a lot of it is just like hand drawn on, which is normal for like 1976, but it's not 1976 when this movie came out. Oh, also these 2 girls, Coco and Yoko, give Cherry a beautiful roller boogie makeover, and it's super awesome and cool. This movie likes to bounce around a lot because we cut over to this lunch lady character in the bathroom. I don't know what she is. This is her only real scene, but she's not alone. Gingy is watching in the corner from a like a glory hole thing, and he says some stuff that I cannot repeat on YouTube, and puts his little breadstick through the hole. I don't want to show this, man. What am I doing? I don't want to be here. She's not playing around, so she walks up, rips it off, and then eats it, and then we cut away. This movie, out of all of these, has no plot. I'm gonna be completely honest. It has absolutely no plot. Like the last 2, while they didn't have a great story, they at least had a story. This one feels like I'm watching about 7 different early Smosh sketches plastered into one movie, you know? We come back to Cherry. She got called up to her mom's office. She's really pissed that she's out roller skating, and they start arguing more and more, and we get another reference to the roller boogie queen. I wonder if Cherry's gonna win the roller boogie queen and then get blood dumped on her and then lock the doors and then kill everybody. I wonder. There's something that's telling me that might happen. Now Cherry starts beefing with her aunt some more because her aunt doesn't want her doing any sort of skating or doing anything like that. So Cherry eventually convinces her to tell us why she hates roller skating so much if she owns the damn disco boogie. Lady, you own the place. Why do you hate it so much? But we get a flashback. Apparently she was an insanely successful roller skater in the 30s and 40s, so much so that FDR himself invited her out to Hawaii to do a special performance for the soldiers. She performed this during Pearl Harbor. She somehow survived, by the way, but it shattered her pelvis and now she can't skate, and that's what makes her hate it so much. But she also blames herself for Pearl Harbor because she thinks that if she wasn't doing it, the soldiers would have all been at their stations and then Pearl Harbor never would have happened. What the fuck is this movie? What am I watching? Cherry kind of just looks at her dumbfounded and is like, okay, yeah, cool story, man. I'm still gonna like go skate though. Down on the floor, the skating queen nominees are about to get announced, so everybody gathers around to the stage and they finally announce the boogie nominees. We got 2 random ladies. We got Cherry and Tammy, the lady from the very beginning, the one that was dating Epstein.
Back off, Epstein.
After this, a lot of nothingness happens for a while. Tammy sets up a trap for Carrie because she's a sore loser. She's got the blood, of course. That had to happen. And Gingy kills some more random people, and then we get the final announcement. Who do you guys think it's gonna be? Who's gonna win? I'm hoping it's me. I'm gonna win that boogie queen. You see how I boogie? You see how I get down? Ooh!
Chariot, right!
Fuck! I should have won that. I should have won the boogie queen. You guys know it. You know it in your hearts. Cherry didn't have a fucking chance compared to me. But all of a sudden, the blood is dumped. And you think it's gonna land on Cherry, right? Because she won and she's a bitch. But it actually landed on Tammy. Gingy redirected the blood for some reason. I guess he just wanted it to fall on her instead. And then he also jumps down and fucking splits her in half. You didn't really need to spill anything on her. You could have just killed her, man, but okay. And then we get the best animation I have ever seen. They used a lot of shitty CGI on this one, and it's so, I think it helps so much. I think it makes it so funny. Gingy pulls out a gun and starts blasting people, and he eventually shoots Cherry's aunt or mom or whatever, I don't remember what she was, and sends her into a freaking gamer rage, dude. She's freaking angry. She manipulates a disco ball into hitting him, and then he goes flying. And then that somehow electrocutes everybody in the building. They even got Robin Sydney. Why is she here? Why is she in this movie? I told you she's in every single movie. I got her too. It's a really long drawn out scene, and it finishes off with the time travel kids coming back. They come back, they grab Gingy, and they capture him, and they're so fucking cool, holy shit. Now the kids are talking to Gingy and they're like, we know all the evil stuff you're doing. We've actually brought some friends to help finish you off. And I just want you to guess who you think their friends are gonna be, because I guarantee you will not get it. I guarantee you will not get it. Did you make your guess? Okay, here it is.
Adolf Hitler.
What? Why? Excuse me? Oh, and also Charles Manson and Jeffrey Dahmer and Lizzie Borden. What? Hey, Charles, why are the kids friends with Hitler and Charles Manson and Jeffrey and Lizzie Borden? And why did they grab those people to help kill him? What the fuck? Like, it's one thing for them to bring out Hitler as a concept. I understand that that's a very shock value, like, oh, Hitler, lol. They said they brought some friends.
Fun time is over. We brought back a few friends to help even the score.
Anyways, Hitler and friends grab him and put him in a cookie jar, and that is the end of the Gingerdead Man. Oh, all the people live, by the way. The time travel kids were like, and we're gonna reverse it. And then all the people wake up and they're like, oh, I'm fine. Awesome. Wait, I'm here. Oh, and they also gave a lottery ticket to the woman that owns the disco, so the disco's saved too. And I thinking about that, I would have much rather just followed the story of those kids instead of this shitty ass disco place. What did I just watch? What was that? You know, I really thought being the Gingerdead Man series, it would have more of a Christmas feel. You know, we'd have like some crazy Christmas stuff, maybe Santa dies, but this was quite possibly the furthest from a Christmas movie I think I've ever watched. Well, this and Die Hard. Get it? With that, we have reached the end of the series. They never made any after this. I'm not counting you, Evil Bong crossover. So the series ends on a pretty, interesting note. I don't really get the whole let's throw Hitler and a bunch of murderers in last second idea. I get that it's for shock value, but it just kind of, okay, you know, I'm like, I guess it shocked me, so that worked. Overall, this series just took a really strange route. I mean, they tried that weird meta plot line for the second one that just felt so full of itself, so I'm glad they didn't do that again for the third one. That being said, I don't really know what they did for the third one, but honestly, I prefer the way that they did it over the idea of just continuing Sarah's story for 3 movies, because sure, the last 2 may have been borderline unwatchable, but at least they tried something different, because all 3 movies being about Sarah would have been so boring. Now, when I finished all these movies, the first thought that came to my head was, wow, there are movies out there that are worse than Evil Bong. Obviously, I'm exaggerating there a little bit, but these movies were just such a slog. Like, whereas Evil Bong 1 through 3, they were like so cheesy, they were fun, they were so bad, they're good. These are just so bad, they're still bad. I don't know what else to describe them as. But anyways, if you freaking liked this freaking video, freaking let me freaking know. I love talking about the weird shit that I find, and honestly, I don't know if I could get much weirder than this without blacklisting my channel, but I'm gonna try. Thank you to the patrons, you guys are amazing. All of the content over there is completely free to access for anyone. Subscribing to it just helps support me in what I do. It also gets your little name up here, so if you want your little name up here, you can do that. So if you like this video, you could consider that. But with all that being said, my name is Prisk. That's Reggie. Don't look at him. And I'll see you on the dance floor, baby.